Hey there. So, my next guest had a love for video games and wanted to turn that love into a passion that he could use in his real life. So, he went out and started a business focused on video games and really, the mentality behind loving life as a gamer. And I really liked this one. He was a lot of fun to talk to. I know you're all going to love it. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Gamerpreneur podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bradford Carlton. Today, I have a very special guest with us. I have Dexter Carr Jr. Hey there, Dexter. How's it going?
Hey, how you doing, man?
It is a beautiful sunny day in Las Vegas. How about yourself?
It is a beautiful day in State College, Pennsylvania.
Fantastic. All right. Now, Dexter, I don't do a lot of fluff on the show. I usually just go straight into it. So that was the extent of our small talk. Please tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so young man here in America. I'm a gamer. Been gamer my whole entire life. Love video gaming. Gaming has done so much for me that I decided to create a career out of it. Originally wanted to go to school for more so the healthcare and the business side of things. But I decided to take that knowledge that I learned and apply it to my passion.
Fantastic. All right. Now, before we kind of get into that, I start every interview with a single question. So I'm going to ask you just like I ask everybody else. So Dexter, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high, how weird are you?
Man, I'm definitely a good 7 or 8. Good 7.
Why is that?
I'm so eclectic. I'm just all over the place.
Okay, right on. Okay, now this is the Gamerpreneur podcast, so I do need your gaming cred. You did tell me you're a gamer, but when did you first start playing video games?
So I first started playing video games when I was 8 years old. Before Christmas, I got my first handheld with the Game Boy Color and Pokemon Yellow. And then from there, I just fell in love with it.
Fantastic. Okay. And I'm assuming you've continued to play video games since.
Yes.
Okay. What do you play now?
So right now, all the games I play are more so like RPGs because they're very story and plot driven. I've realized growing up that I'm a very story heavy individual. So a lot of games that I play, even though I do like playing multiplayer games, like a lot of the games that I play more so focus on the storytelling element, the character development. So games like Final Fantasy, Mass Effect, Kingdom Hearts, things like that, I really get into.
Beautiful. I'm right there with you. Those are my favorites. Now, if you had to pick one game out of all the games you've played over the years as your all-time favorite game, which one would it be?
Mass Effect, the Mass Effect series.
The whole series, because you can't just say one, right?
Yeah.
What did you think of the ending?
It could have been executed better. And it felt a bit rushed in a way. Coming down to the end of it. Andromeda, I understand why people didn't like it. It just like rehashed everything from the first 3, so nothing really truly new. Even the twist, not very new, in regards to the series. But I felt I kind of wanted more from like the ending, like more. Like I would have enjoyed the long cinematic of what happened to my players, specifically that I've grown with and I made connections with throughout the entire story. So, but other than that, I think it was good.
Fantastic. All right, let's get over to the preneur part because that's what we're really here for. You said you wanted to turn gaming into a career. So what is it you do?
So what we do at GHaven, we focus on extracting the value out of gaming. We believe that gaming isn't just a source of entertainment, but it can also be a vehicle and an agent for positive impact and change. And so our business goes around empowering not just individuals, but creating tools that allows people to really utilize video gaming and make a difference with it, with their passion.
Beautiful. Now, what is your specific position or role with the company?
So I'm the founder and CEO of GHavenEsports.
Okay. And how long have you had this business?
So we started in January 2020, so we're still very young. And we keep going. We're still up to this day.
All right. And how has it been going? You know, you kind of getting through that first year. That first year sucks for everybody. Hopefully it didn't suck for you.
I mean, it has ups and downs. But I think the first year was really diving in and exploring what our true purpose is as a company. What is it that we really wanted to do? Because it transformed into what it is now. But in each of the stages, you could see that the major theme was there. And we had to truly understand what was that core why. And when we did recently, we were now able to really go forth and molding that perfect business model around that why.
Okay. Now, why did you decide to start GHaven? Like, what was your why?
So the initial why was just wanting to bring people together. Like, so the original idea came from me and a friend of mine, and it was just so we were actually. I'm at Penn State right now, and we were here one summer after I graduated from grad school. Like a couple of weeks later, we're still at my place Friday afternoon, and we were trying to figure out what we want to do for the weekend. And instead of going to the bars or clubs or whatever, we were like, during the time at the moment in time we were playing video games, and I was in the kitchen cooking. He was like, "Why can't we just do something like this?" And then the idea was born to create a space where people could come together and just hang out, play video games, and kind of like a gaming lounge, and whatnot, but make it more so widespread in the area because we didn't have that. And from there, the whole idea of bringing people together was one of the initial whys, but then it more so turned into demonstrating, that not only can gaming bring us together, but also gaming has value and has created a huge impact in our lives. And so we wanted to be able to demonstrate that to other people.
100%. I'm right there with you. Okay. Now, Dexter, it's rather difficult for most people to see like a space that needs assistance like you did here, and then actually take the effort to go and start a business. So what is special about you? What makes you different that you were able to kind of make that leap where most people just kind of, it lives in their head forever?
Well, I think kind of going back to that why, I think it's truly understanding, because some people put the cart before the horse in terms of creating something, but then don't knowing how to put it back into who they want to share this with, or there's a problem and a lot of people don't know how to solve it or can't think of a unique way to solve it. And so one of the ways that what makes us special is the fact that our focus is basically on social causes. We want to create impact. Our business model is basically focused and built upon the act of not just philanthropy, but just doing good, giving back to the community. And so based upon that, we're able to look at the overall problem and find and really question down what can be a common thread amongst all these problems, and what could be a solution to help make it better. Because you're not going to find a silver bullet, but you want to be able to look for a alternative. And I think that's one of the biggest things that have us above our competitors.
Fantastic. Okay, now is this your first business?
Yes, it is.
All right. What have you learned as an entrepreneur over this past year and a half or so?
I've learned so much. Truly understanding what you're doing, why you're doing it, like the direction, like basically understanding where your place is. But like for me, and this is not just as an entrepreneur, but as an individual as well. But I think this skill is very, very important for any budding entrepreneurs, is knowing exactly what you want. And then not being afraid to either go after it or question it, because a lot of the times as a CEO, like I'm always asked specifically, what is it you're trying to do? What is it do you actually want? You come to business meetings, okay, cool. What do you want out of this? And sometimes I want to be so collaborative. I don't say I fold, but I'm more so and more lenient to compromise. But knowing exactly what you want as an entrepreneur helps, because then people can know, okay, this is exactly how I can help you. since time is a very valuable thing, but also as an individual, when you know what you want, your end goal becomes more clear.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, what are some of the challenges that GHaven has faced over this past year, other than the Rona?
Well, the Rona has definitely put everyone in a space where we have to be creative. The original idea, like the original idea we had was for a physical space that got shot down, and so we had to figure out how do we then still do what we're doing, but without a physical space, and that was really one of the crux of it, and like really understanding what our messaging is, right? Because when we figured out what our messaging was, and like what we're trying to create is a physical place, but an ideal, then we were able to come up with a solution and we'll grow it and chip out away to get exactly what we're trying to do over time. But that was one of the biggest things, was trying to really figure out, especially during the time of Corona, where like in the pandemic, where no one was trying to really do business like that. How do we set ourselves apart from everyone who was already doing the exact same thing or making the same change that we were?
Okay, so it sounds like it was like a matter of messaging. Instead of trying to go this direction, you decided to go more this direction, and you had to let people know. How has it been getting people on board? Like, was it a slow at start, or did you like have a mad rush of people? What was that like?
So it was slow in the beginning. A lot of it because of the fact of me learning how to properly disseminate the information. But uh, it was just about that messaging, because people thought it was a good idea, or it was the concept was like attractive, but not enough, not attention grabbing as yet. And so, like as I came down, I met the right people who saw what we were building, and helped me craft that message. And over time, it's gotten a lot easier, because now that we have a core message that what we're doing, more people understand what it is, want to be a part of it. And now the next part of that is more so where do each of these people fit in? Where do each of these new potential partners fit in? And so that's kind of where we are about that.
Okay. If there was like one thing you would wish you had known when you first started GHaven, what would it be?
There was one thing. It's hard to pick one. If it was one thing that I wish I would have known before starting GHaven, was the how to fundraise properly. That's one thing I didn't know how to do. I didn't know how to really go about the business side of things, and like the importance of that form of networking to be able to find those different options. That was my biggest thing, because in the beginning, that was like one of the hardest parts, is finding that funding, and I didn't know how to properly go about it, especially when I was still trying to figure out my why.
Okay, fantastic. Now, as an entrepreneur, the CEO of this business, and you've been doing it for a year, you've had to learn, you've had to grow. Do you have any advice for somebody else out there who's looking to start their own business? Maybe that's just on that, like the cusp of just pulling that trigger. What do they need to know from your perspective?
So from my perspective, the best thing I can say to a budding entrepreneur is not only being creative, but look for network, very, very important. That, and also look for a mentor, look for someone to who's either been a professional for a very long time, or been in the space that what you're trying to be in, and really, really pick their brain, because that is how you not only will you be able to grow, but you'll be able to start putting the pieces together, start getting the resources, getting the backing you need to be able to fulfill what you're trying to do.
Love it. Okay. Now, Dexter, I
Mhm.
want to get a little personal if possible.
All
Okay.
right.
So I believe that we learn the most in our life from our failures, not necessarily our successes. Because when you succeed the first time you try something, you may not know what happened, right? You're just like, yeah, it happened. But when you fail, you got to take a look at it. You got to figure out what went wrong to be able to move past it and move forward. So I'd like to ask you, What do you consider your biggest failure in life? And what did you learn from it?
My biggest failure in life was not understanding the importance of and not knowing how to appropriately network. I always thought it was like growing up and looking at people when people would network or whatnot. I didn't really see the point of it. I didn't really see how it was truly beneficial. And sometimes to me, it just appeared as though people were just, kissing up somebody else just to get them to be nice to them and get them an opportunity. No, it's never like that. I didn't realize at the time the importance of building relationships. And that is one of the biggest reasons why like things took me so long, because I felt as if the merit of my skill alone could get me where I need to get to, but it's become more of a interpersonal form of business that is very important, and that element is needed. So that's one of my biggest failures, is taking so long to truly appreciate, understand the importance and the power of relationship building.
Okay, I thank you for that. I appreciate that. Now, Dexter, I'd like you to hop on a time machine with me for a second. We are going to go back together and visit little you when you were 8 years old. Okay, and you're going to get to go up to little Dexter, and you're going to be able to tell little Dexter all the ups and downs, all the strengths, all the challenges, all the trials, all the good, all the bad, everything that's ever happened to you in your life. And you're going to be able to tell him exactly what he needs to know in order to make his life bigger, badder, faster, more successful, however you define that. But if there was only one thing he absolutely had to know, what would it be?
Don't take yourself too seriously. Do not take yourself too seriously. That was one of the biggest things. And that's kept me from a lot of opportunities, because I would take myself way too seriously, be too hard on myself, and then miss opportunities that are right in front of my face, only because I was that pride got in the way. So I would definitely tell him to not take yourself too seriously and to enjoy and to live in the present, because opportunities that you're looking for are right there in front of you.
All right, that's great. Now, what's something that you're working to improve on yourself today?
Well, I want to improve on myself.
Mhm.
My my communication, because sometimes I get so passionate about things, I lose the ability to be concise. And because I'm also very verbose, I can just keep going on, especially when I'm passionate about something. But really working on being more succinct what I'm trying to say, and what I'm trying to express is definitely one of the biggest things I'm currently working on.
Okay, I love it. Now, Dexter, this has been a fantastic interview. How do people find you? Where are you at on social media, contact information, all that, please?
Yeah, of course. So we do have a website, GHavenEsports.com. The new website is being built right now, and it'll be live for the next couple of weeks. So we're really excited about that. We're on Facebook. Just search for GHaven Esports. We're on Twitter at GHaven Esports one, and we're also on Twitch, GHaven Esports as well.
Fantastic. All right. Now, as we wrap this up, do you have any final thoughts you want to share? Or anything I didn't ask you think we still need to cover?
I guess the biggest thing is anyone who wants to enter the space of video gaming is going to be, you're going to be a fish in an ocean full of very, very big sharks. And you're going to have to figure out what makes you special, that stands out amongst everybody else, because everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone has time on their hands when they got into the esports industry. It was even more young, and it was a little bit easier to manage, but we're getting to a point now where there's so many different gaming orgs, so many different gaming developers. You have to figure out something that makes you unique. So the question is, how are you going to use video games in a unique way that makes you different from everybody else?
I love it. All right, Dexter, thank you so much for coming on today. I genuinely do appreciate it.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
For sure. And for everybody else, I'm going to remind you all, don't be just a gamer, be a gamerpreneur.